Let's start with one thing that Dr. Imogen Mashazi made very clear, that she did not like your comments or perhaps some of mine on social media. And this was brought up twice today in the commission, once by her attorneys and once by her herself, where she apologized at the end for yesterday's testimony for her appearing evasive or disrespectful of the commission.
I want to truly apologize if yesterday I came across as being restless or not in compliance with your rules. The commission would understand that this is my first appearance, especially in a sort of a court of law where you are cross-examined. And I did not expect this, to be honest, that I'm going to be cross-examined. I thought I'm going to be asked questions to clarify and give evidence to assist the commission to make a recommendation to the president. But unfortunately, the cross-examination actually took me out of my character.
Comment below if you accept her apology, because I certainly don't. Because today's session was a masterclass in deflection, in my own opinion. Now, Mashazi arrived with a video clip that she was handed by her lawyers in order to play in front of the commission. And this is a clip from 2020 showing EMPD officers protesting the protection of Police Minister Mapie. So basically, they were protesting that he is being protected, and they refer to an alleged drunk driving incident. Now, this happened in 2020, and timelines are important here. But here is also the problem, is that this clip isn't evidence. This is just news footage. And she was already city manager at the time. And Advocate Kamali jumps in and says, so if you knew this in 2020, why did you support his reappointment in 2022? And there was just no answer, just more oversight, which is a word we're going to have to add to the bingo, because that would appear a lot today in today's testimony. Now, we got to go on to the harassment claims that she has presented before this commission with no proof. And if you have been watching me and you saw my video from yesterday, I did not like it when she publicly accused the policewoman who was assigned to her as her protector, who was attacked twice, Colonel Tepa, of basically sleeping with the boss. I did not like that at all. I highly doubt that Tepa gave her permission to say those things. And just as a woman, it really rubbed me the wrong way. I would never go in front of a public commission that is being watched by most of South Africa and say those things about another woman if I didn't have her permission. And I got it as a way of her, in my own opinion, trying to dirty Colonel Tepa's name. And I don't think any of us bought it, because at the end of the day, it was Dr. Imogen who was apologizing to the commission. And we got to remember that these claims that were raised about harassment inside the EMPD, especially with regards to the chief, they have no documents, no emails, no memo. There's not even a sticky note about it that she has been able to produce. Just someone took notes. But where are they? Nowhere. She has not been able to produce them. And the theme continues that we go over from yesterday. Everyone is to blame but her. HR is to blame, legal is to blame. Everyone is to blame except the one person who was in charge. She was the boss lady. And she came in and she said to us yesterday that she wanted to empower women and she wanted to promote women and she wanted to do all of this stuff for women because it was a boys' club. And guess what? She can't even produce a sticky note for the commission with these so-called allegations. Now we got to go over to the drunk driving allegations. Those were also leveled against Mapie, and Dr. Imogen Mashazi admits that she never laid a complaint about his alleged drunk driving. She says that she only found this out in the 2020 protest, that the video clip that she produced. She only found out about it last night. Then later, under pressure, she admits that she did know in 2020. And Judge Madlanga called her out immediately and said basically what I said is that you are in charge here. You have to sort of deal with these things when they happen. But so far, you have not been dealing with them. And basically, we also have to go on to the promotion scandal because remember when Chief Mapie was busy testifying in front of the commission, he basically said that Julius Mkhwanazi was just basically made his deputy. He didn't even know him really. And then he just started running the show, promoting people. He had his own unit, refusing fingerprints for everyone. And basically every time that he was confronted, then he would call Dr. Imogen and Dr. Imogen would allegedly protect him. Now, when asked why Julius Mkhwanazi was promoted to deputy police chief without the mandatory competency assessments, Mashazi caves. She says that she had no evidence to contradict Mapie's testimony, meaning that the promotion was essentially illegal. Then, when asked if she approved the request to increase his salary package by, wait for it, 200,000 Rand. That is our money. Her answer, I think so. Dr. Imogen, you have to be better with our taxpayer money. This is our taxpayer money, and what has been happening with it is frankly disgraceful. We know that the EMPD is facing a 45 million Rand lawsuit over those precious gems that were allegedly stolen by EMPD officers under the control of a certain alleged Julius Mkhwanazi. So this is already a lot of taxpayer money. It's your money and it is my money that is going in to fix these problems. And I think so is not good enough. I can't recall is not good enough. It was an oversight is simply not good enough. Now, like I said, you think so. That is taxpayer money. And that's when Advocate Beloy asks for the scoring sheet that proved that Mkhwanazi was not the top candidate, because that has been her testimony all along. The sheet doesn't say that. I mean, the evidence that we have doesn't say that. And guess what her answer was when she was confronted about that? You guessed it, oversight. Now, we got to go into the blue light scandal because that was also briefly touched on today. And Advocate Sello brings in the June 2024 IPID report. Advocate Sello was not playing around today. She was standing on business. She had her cornflakes for breakfast because, let me tell you, she roasted Dr. Imogen Mashazi, in my own opinion. Comment below if you agree. But it states clearly that Mkhwanazi must face criminal charges. This is Julius Mkhwanazi, and he must face a disciplinary inquiry for allegedly fitting those cars with blue lights that Kat had control of. But Mashazi instead appointed him acting chief in May 2024. So the problem that we have here is that we've seen a lot on this channel is that, when you're supposed to face a disciplinary hearing, sometimes you get promotions. And she claims that she didn't know about the IPID findings and that she blames legal again. She's blaming it on that advocate, Bahari, who has to come and testify before the commission. And I wonder if he's going to be singing the same tune as she is. And then we got to talk about the 55 promotions, because remember when Chief Mapie was testifying, I got a sense of a man who his whole department had just been taken over from him. Just Mkhwanazi had just come in and was promoting people. He had that squad behind him that was doing all of the business that we heard about, the alleged burying of bodies and things like that. And Mashazi admits that the 55 EMPD promotions that just Mkhwanazi made were illegal. And because she knew, and that she also perhaps knew that they were illegal, but she took no steps to reverse them. Because remember, we went through the oversight a lot about how only the chief of police can promote people. But Julius Mkhwanazi was basically acting like the chief of police. And every time Reverse Peace or Chief Mapie, where they tried to fight back, then they were basically disciplined. Remember, he was put on special leave and told to come back with a more neutral opinion. And this just follows the same theme of her testimony: zero recall, zero discipline, zero accountability. And she also contradicts herself. Earlier, she said that Mapie never complained about the 55 promotions. And moments later, she says that she didn't have access to this letter. And Judge Madlanga just looked tired. He looked tired at this testimony. I think we all got a bit tired because we got a little bit sick of do not recall an oversight. You are a city manager. You are a woman in power. You are supposed to lead by example. Instead, in my opinion, which Advocate Sello, I think she hit the nail on the head later on when she said that this woman, this Dr. Imogen Mashazi, what she did is that she weaponized women. She weaponized women against Chief Mapie. And that is what I agree in my own personal opinion. I will clip it in later, but it was a powerful moment of testimony. Now, we got to go to the charge sheet disaster. So when she came into this hearing, I think what happened is that Dr. Imogen had a copy, someone leaked her, in my own opinion, a copy of the charge sheet against Chief Mapie. It's where there were 12 charges against him. But Advocate Sello had access to the most recent one, which was June 2025. So this has been amended from the previous year. And she's shocked because I don't think she knew that this amended charge sheet existed. And if so, she hasn't been shown it until now because she keeps bringing up these R allegations. And then we read the charge sheet and there is only one charge on that charge sheet against him. And that is from 2011. And it has nothing to do with R or S harassment. And Advocate Sello shut it down hard. And I will just clip it in here because I couldn't have said it better myself.
These issues, and I submit, for your own, and forgive me if my choice of words is not right, ulterior purposes. And when you are confronted with them and you are asked to clarify, then your response that the victim must come. This commission is not interested in subjecting victims to secondary abuse, which appears to be a solution to the problem as far as you're concerned. If you couldn't speak to them as a city manager, a person of your seniority, involving junior members in the force, you ought to have applied better judgment before you drag their names before this commission. And when you can't answer the questions further, you then say they must come themselves and speak to these issues. They never invited themselves here. And why should the commissioners do? That's highly responsible of you, Dr. Mashazi.
Can I remind you that in terms of the invite to this commission, I was afforded an opportunity to call any witness if I want to. And I have chosen to call this witness to come and testify on the issues that I've raised, especially the issue around rape and the issue around harassment.
But
unless I was limited not to invite certain witnesses.
No, you ask witnesses to be called to speak on your behalf. An allegation of rape by a junior member in the force has got nothing to do with you. And that witness can't come and testify to that issue because you did not suffer that indignity. So you misunderstood the rule because clearly you understood it to mean you will throw mud at everybody, and if it doesn't stick, you will get a witness drag some witness out of a hole to present them before this commission so that your personal objectives are met. That's not what the rule intended. It intended for you to be able to call witnesses in your defense. These issues have got nothing to do with your defense. Perhaps that's what your program does. You used a junior's misfortune for your own purposes before this commission. It's sad enough. I don't want to engage on it. And I think as we leave here today, you should really go reflect and engage with this poor lady and stop using her or attempting to use her, because we will not permit you to use her in this environment. But that please don't try and use it.
And we got to finish off the day with the medical reports bombshell. Because in her own evidence, which Mashazi keeps complaining that she didn't have adequate time, but as it was pointed out, her name became public on the 14th of November. And if I was her and my name came out in the Madlanga Commission, I would already be preparing my testimony. I would be preparing my response. But this whole I didn't have enough time thing, it's not flying with me really. And Mashazi attaches medical reports of 2 alleged victims into her submission of Chief Mapie. And Sello asks, do you have permission to use these? She says yes, but she has no documentation to back it up. And they didn't believe her really, in my own opinion. They're like, listen, we got to go get an affidavit saying that you have permission to use this. And then her attorney, Mashazi's attorney, interrupted and said, let's get affidavits from the victims themselves, because all of this stuff goes on the website. Anyone in the public can go and look at it. And commissioners step in and say they want written proof, and she has until Wednesday to submit her supplementary affidavit. Now, she has finished her testimony and she finished it off with an apology. I personally do not accept it. I think she wasted our taxpayer money the last 2 days by not being truthful, in my own opinion. Comment below what you think. But today's testimony exposed a pattern. And the pattern was oversight, deflection, memory lapses, and contradictions so sharp that they cut the room in half. But most importantly, the real question remains, why was Dr. Imogen Mashazi protecting Julius Mkhwanazi, someone who is close associates allegedly with the cat, someone who the cat is alleged to be a member of the Big Five cartel? We have more questions here to ask, and as we get going through this commission, the truth is running out of places to hide, and I think we're going to get there sometime. And trust me, Sensor Nkunu is up next, and his testimony is going to be explosive. Now, if you like what I do, consider hitting that like button and subscribing. Memberships are available. I've set them on the lowest. Membership benefits, they get videos earlier. And additionally, it contributes to the plant fund behind me. Thank you for watching. And as always, watch your six because it's dangerous out there.